Hi everyone, welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. My name is Adam. If you are a new subscriber, thank you for checking out my channel. Please feel free to subscribe and leave a comment. Let me know who you are, where you're from, what you think of my videos, if they're interesting enough. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you very much for coming back again another week. Um, I'm trying. I'm trying to bring videos out every week. In the last couple of weeks, I had a couple of stuff happening, so it's not been straightforward to bring videos out. But here I am today. Again, it's not Friday like I'm usually planning on doing videos on Fridays. But again, tomorrow, which today's Thursday, tomorrow's Friday. I've got something on, so I won't be able to do it tomorrow. And I don't want to go another week or another couple of days without recording anything. Where do I start? If you look in the background, it's not very exciting, unfortunately. I had to sort of reorganise Crafty Wool headquarters, I call it. It just had to move all my yarn dyeing stuff, which is down here, and all my yarn is further up and a couple of shelves further up. Only because I did actually have to sort through things, and I've realised I actually had a lot of space here that I could use up instead of having some of the yarn here and some out in the landing, and then having the yarn dyeing stuff again out there. We've got a bit of space. We're in it's a flat, but it's a house. But basically we're upstairs, in a detached house, and we've only got an entrance downstairs and the stairs coming up. And because it's like an extension of the actual building, where the stairs are upstairs, there's a bit of a storage area with a sloped ceiling, and that's where I usually kept my own dyeing equipment and dyes and all of that. But because it's a sloped roof and ceiling, a couple of times I banged my head, and I decided, no, I'm gonna have to move it, because I'm not being funny. It's not the easiest to handle stuff that you have to use for your own dyeing, and then I've got all my dyes down there, so it's not exactly the easiest to just lift out and carry over to another place. So I decided to bring everything in here. It's a bit closer to the kitchen, so it won't take as long to get set up for yarn dyeing and all of that. Somebody needs to get their brakes checked. I've got a couple of things. So I am taking part in the Turnpike Creations Mal. So the Gina from the Knitting Turnpike and Judy from Judy's Creations and Crochet are doing a make along together. You've got the option of doing a crocheted shawl, crocheted wrap, or a knitted wrap, whichever obviously you do, or both. Which silly me thought I can do both because I can knit and crochet. Can't even get one of them started. but, but yeah, so you can choose either one of the two, or do both. And it's the crocheted pattern. It is a simple wrap, but because there's no tutorial, I'm struggling a little bit with it. But from what I saw on Judy's most recent video, I think she's doing a little bit of a tutorial, or maybe a full one. I don't know, because I've only just seen a little snippet of the clip. So I'm gonna have to go back and have a look at the video, and hopefully she's done a full tutorial on it. Which, if you have, Judy, I love you, thank you. But either way, if it's in a little guide, even that's a massive help. Only because I'm not really great with written instructions, patterns. I'm not sure why. I can do knitted patterns written, but not crochet patterns. I'm not really sure why. Um, who knows? But I've given it a try, and I made a bit of a progress. But it took me a couple of tries to get the edges right because it's on the bias, so it's growing like that rather than flat, or it's not a triangle. It's a long wrap. Um, there we go. That's my progress. Um, it's a really easy pattern, but in the last couple of days I've just not been crocheting much. I just couldn't get into it for some reason. Don't get me wrong, it's a really nice pattern and I like this shawl wrap, but just couldn't get going. Hopefully, once I've got a couple of things coming up this weekend, once all that's over, I'll be able to get back into it. Now, when I said I was struggling a little bit with the pattern, what I mean is the edges. Like I said, it's on the bias, so you're increasing on one side but decreasing on the other. If I'm saying it wrong, ignore me. Look at the pattern. and, but I mean, I think. I mean, how can I show it to you? There's a bit of curling, and it's the increased side. It's fine. That's going. I can't lift it up. The increased side is fine. That's because you just think, putting two double crochets into the same stitch. But on the other side, I mean, as much as, yes, it's sort of doing what I need it to do, it just seems to have, I don't know, maybe once it's blocked. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing with the decrease side. What throws me is when it's things such as, bear with me, chain three, double, right, so yeah, for example, repeat from start to start until one chain one space and a stitch remain, and then double crochet two together over the last chain one space and a stitch. Well, automatically for me that's like, huh? But I kept trying and kept trying, and when you're actually working it, it does sort of make sense. But I think what I'm getting confused with is I can see the last switch, I can see the last stitch, but then is that the last stitch, or is it the chain two top stitch? Because when I tried to do the last stitch, that's when I had the kind of weird pulley thing. Whereas when I worked into the chain two and then, or chain three, whichever, when you're chaining, and then into the top of that stitch, whenever I worked into that, that's when I sort of got this more of a, gradual edge. But then again, looking, I don't know. I think I'm just going to carry on working on it and then use the, oh, just nearly pulled out the working yarn. And I might just use the yarn ends when I'm weaving into. I was looking on the wrong bloody side. No, I wasn't. Yes, I don't know where I was looking. But what I'm saying is I might use the yarn ends to kind of make it straight, because I mean, what the hell, what's going on with that? Is it just me, or is it going all over the place? I'll have to watch Judy's video, see what what she mentions on that, and then take it from there. Because I don't like it when I'm not 100% comfortable with what I'm doing is right, and then carry on working just for it to not be right. I'll have to see what's on Judy's video. If you want any of the details of the mal, I'm happy to. I'll put the details in the video description anyway. But I think it's listed on the previous video as well, so you can always find that. The yarn I'm using is hold on. It's just some James. No, I'm lying. It's not James. It's Stylecraft Highland. It's Stylecraft Highland Heathers DK. So they just bear with. They are just some random skeins I've got from my friend and colleague Linda's daughter, Rachel. So thanks, Rachel. Really lovely yarn, really nice. I'll be buying more of these definitely because it's really nice, you know, for yeah, it's premium acrylic. You know, for premium acrylic, premium acrylic, they are really nice, and very much enjoy working with them. So yeah, so that's one of the whips as soon to be frogged, or God knows what I'm gonna do with it. The other whip I've got is just a simple double crochet shawl, which I might have shown last week. I can't remember if I have. Just using a yarn art flowers cake. Really, really like the colours. It's pink and blue. It's again for Judy's Cal, the monthly tropical birds inspired pictures. Yeah, the monthly pictures, monthly colours inspired by the monthly tropical birds. They're inspired by birds, the colours, basically, every month. Again, if you go on Judy's channel, she does a lot better job explaining things. What else? I showed you the beautiful background, showed you that. I've got a little bit of a yarn acquisition. I showed you this shawl a couple of weeks ago, I think. This is a knitted shawl that I started a couple of maybe a year ago. I can't exactly remember when. Using, why do I want to keep saying James C. Brett? I don't have that much yarn from him. He's probably not even a real person. He's probably just a company name. Like Betty Crocker. She doesn't exist. I was fuming when I found out. Anyway, yeah, so Stylecraft Cabaret. I must have said James C. Brett last week. No, it's again Stylecraft Cabaret, double knitted, in the shade. Where is it? Come on. Midnight Hours. So it's just a really nice, sparkly green and yeah, it's green and purple. The colour's not really coming through. Focus. Yeah, so it's like greeny. It's a dark green colour. And I've only noticed when it arrived yesterday that it's not a woven kind of yarn, but it's not exactly twisted. So if you look closely, it's not twisted like a lot of different yarns, but it's not exactly woven, which I can't work with. I try to, and I always found that it kept ripping, coming apart, and I thought, yeah, I'm not working with this. But this is really nice, a really nice yarn to work with. Very soft. It's premium acrylic and polyester. Polyester. You know what I mean. 98% and then 2%. So we recommend this yarn. Yeah, so I just got this from the Wool Warehouse. I like their website because you can get discounts when you, if you use the, it's a thing on, you can get it on your iPhone, you can get it on your phone, you can get it on your computer. It's called Honey. And what you do is you add it as a browser extension. So on your Chrome or whatever you use, you can add it as an extension. And what it does, when you shopping on different websites, it will randomly pop up and say, we found vouchers for you or discounts. And then if you click, search or check or whatever, it will automatically check all the codes that are available and give you a discount if there is one. So I got something like £2 of this. It's instead of, I think they were £3.50 each. I got £2 off. I can't add together. But again, another company that love them, but they charge a lot for delivery. When I say a lot, it's like £3 or £3 or £4. For me, that's a lot for delivery. I love free delivery. So yeah, I can't remember what website I was looking on and how much they were charging for delivery, and it just puts me off, from buying yarn, because you'll find something you think, oh, it's really cheap, this yarn, and then it turns out, yeah, but you're paying double the yarn's worth in delivery and postage, which I never understand why some companies do. There are cheaper alternatives, and you're not. For example, with Crafty wool, when I'm sending out, 100 grams canes or mini clubs or shawls that I sell, I always try and find a cheapest option for postage, but that goes for both me as a seller and also as the customer, because I know for myself, I don't like paying a lot for delivery. Not being funny, you don't get anything apart from it arrives here, but there's nothing else in it. I know that doesn't necessarily make sense to me. I don't like to pay for shipping, but that's why I like to keep the costs as low as possible when I'm sending stuff and try to find the cheapest alternatives. I mean, talking about, if I'm sending something within the UK and it's a parcel, not a letter but a parcel, I tend to use Every or My Hermes, but now they're called Every, because they, I can send through them for something like £2.90. Whereas if I send nationwide with Royal Mail, it's going to be a bit more than £2.90. If I send stuff abroad, I can't use Every for a large letter. They can only send it as a parcel, and it's something like £7 or £8 each. Whereas with Royal Mail International Standard, it's literally just under £5, and I think that's what I'm charging on Etsy. So, you can't, there's a massive price difference, and that's why I tend to use Royal Mail for international shipping, because it just works out a lot cheaper. I know it takes a bit of time, and sometimes I'm sat there thinking, has it got there yet? Is it there yet? Is it there? And I think Diane from My Pink Bathtub has actually left me a lovely review saying that it arrived in Canada a lot sooner than she was expecting, and me as well, to be fair. I was surprised, but it does take slightly longer than some companies, but then again, the cost is a lot lower than what you'd pay for a lot of different places. So yeah, that's my rant over paying for postage. I'll show you January's Yarn Club, because I think most people have received it by now. If you haven't received it yet, look away for a couple of seconds Bear with. Where have I put it? This isn't going to plan. Shocker. Oh, you go there. Just talk amongst yourselves. I'll be back in a second. Oh, hold on. There we go. Right. Sorry about that. I'm going to try and not edit this out of the video, only because my computer is absolutely ancient, but the phone I'm using to record it, it records in the, like, the highest possible resolution. Resolution? Basically in a really good quality. And my computer tries to convert it and do things to it, you know, in the best quality. Great, but it's taking me absolutely hours just to put the little Crafty wool logo at the beginning of the video and to make it fade out at the end, rather than just I'm talking randomly and it just whoosh, got out. So yeah, even that takes me ages to do, but that's it. So I'm going to try and not edit this video too much. So yeah, so January's Yarn Club, it was, hold on, let me pick it up. So the green and orangey salmon, I'm not exactly sure what colour. I call this colour, hold on, bear with. I call this colour my salmon because it's a colour that I mixed up years ago. I mean, it's nothing fancy, you know, it's not, but it was just at the time the right colour that I needed. So yeah, I just call it my salmon. And then on this side is what I call my jade. Is it jade? I'm not exactly sure, but again, it's a colour that I mixed up again years ago. What this month or last month's club was really just me going through my little notebook and recipes that I wrote down over the years and randomly made notes. I thought I'm going to try it and see how it turns out, because I've not been experimenting with colours since, so I just decided to do a skein of these two colours, and I mean, I think they go together pretty well. You know, just to see what colours I get when I remix them colours and is it accurate. But at least now I've got a 100% recipe for both of them, so I know how they work, what they do. I mean, with this salmon, because it wasn't exactly a, so I wasn't going for a tonal or a semi-tonal yarn, skein, so there was, you know, a random amount of water in the pan, so it wasn't dyeing it 100% through, you know, through the fibre. It was where it, you know, struck the colour, that's where it did, and you know, it looks slightly different in different areas. Now, some of them shades that I got I really like, some not so much, because in some areas the orange is showing through more than the orange and the pink that I mixed together. But overall, it's a nice colour. I'll be doing something with it once I've managed to purchase 100-gram skeins and possibly come out with a 100-gram skein of that colour. And it'd be interesting to see what it looks like when it's just one solid colour, and hopefully not, you know, mixing with water and, you know, bleeding to different areas, and, you know, going from deeper or richer colour to a faded colour. And then my jade, which it's not how I remembered it. So it was coming through a bit too green, whereas when I originally used it, it was coming through as a nice bluey colour. I don't know if it is jade, if it would count as jade, but it was just a really, really nice colour that I liked. So I sort of tried to remember the recipe and the ways of how I mixed it. I'm close, but I'd imagine I need to add a bit more blue to it to get the original colour. Let me just see, because it's... Hold on. Oh, it's in my scrap granny square box, and it's at the bottom of the whole tub, so I'm not going to get it out. But yeah, so it is similar to what I was going for, but I'm going to try and add a bit more green to it, and see if I get any closer to what I wanted originally. But overall, I really, really like it, and I've put speckles on it as well. Not a lot, because I didn't think this would need loads of speckling, but I think moving forward I'll be adding a lot more speckles to the coming up months. Maybe in February. I've got the idea for February, but not a solid decision on what I'm doing yet. I've got the colours. I think I know how I'm going to be applying them. If it goes to plan, it's going to be one of my favourites so far, but it depends. A lot of the times you don't know what the yarn's going to do when you add the yarn, the water, the dye and the acid, and then how it's gonna turn out. But a lot of it is trial and error, and that is partially why I'm doing this monthly yarn club. It's not how can I say it nicely? It's not a set way of how I'm doing it. It's me trialing new colours and building a scrappy collection of hand-dyed yarns. I'd like to think, in an affordable way, hopefully. Please let me know if you don't think it's affordable. But, I try to keep the costs as low as possible. But yeah, it's just me trialing different techniques and colours, and then eventually I was going to potentially do a yarn advent this year, but I'm not. The idea I have for it, if I was going to do it, I'd want to do it as a big, very successful yarn advent, and I'm just worried if I did it this year, it might not be as popular, as well done as I'd like it to be, and I don't want to do it one year and then next year do it again. So I'm going to see how I get on up until the late spring, and see where I am and how I feel about doing it this year, because if not, I'll do it next year, and 2024 just start out with the Scrappy Monthly Club, and the next year do something different, a bit more of a 100% knowing exactly what I'm doing. I mean, I know what I'm doing, a Scrappy Club, but just something with a lot more rhyme and reason, rather than I want to try that colour and see, buy new colours and try that, see how they look together. I will show you something quickly. These are my yarn ideas and recipes and thoughts and colour mixes and random scraps of paper with me just colouring different colours and thinking, oh, that looks nice together. At some point, I'm going to have to do like an admin day of maybe typing it all up and putting it in this massive folder. Keeping a log of what I've done this year and how they worked. And I've not even showed you the other skein yet because there's two. But yeah, so I'm going to do all that and set it all up. And yeah, so I'm rambling. Sorry. This year, I don't know if I'm going to do a yarn advent. Next year, more than likely. But this year, it's a 50-50 chance of yes or no. Like I said, if I do it, I really want to do it well, because the theme that I want to do it with means absolutely so much to me, and I've not seen anybody else do it. And obviously it's not a personal thing, anyone else could come out and do it, but I'd absolutely love it if I could do it and it was only Crafty Wool who's done this themed yarn advent so far. That would be absolutely amazing. But yeah, I'll have to try with the monthly clubs first and see how it goes. It's going really well. I'm really enjoying it. But as you know, I'm working full time at the same time, so making the time for buying the clubs, as much as I can do it, it does take a weekend in the month to, Friday evening to Sunday afternoon to get it all sorted. So I enjoy it, but with a full-time job and doing it, I don't know if I could do it, with 24 mini skeins, all different. Every single skein is different for God knows how many people. Hopefully hundreds of people, loads of people would buy it. That would be an absolute dream. But not in a 2-day weekend, including the Friday night. So yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, I could always book some time off, couldn't I? Anyway, that's to discuss with me and Adam. So the other skein this month, January's club, was a solid grey, which was, I can't remember what's the colour name, the actual dye name. I always wanted to get a plain grey, because I've had a grey already. Yeah, so I've already had a silver grey, which, okay, it's a nice grey, but it wasn't exactly the shade that I was thinking. So when I found this new yarn dye supplier, I just randomly picked some colours out and I thought, oh, grey. I mean, they've got loads of different shades of grey. I don't know if exactly 50 shades of grey, but quite a lot. So I got this one. I can't remember what it's, maybe granite or meteor grey. Cement. It's called something, but it's a really nice, solid grey. And I'm actually really proud of myself because I've managed to get it as quite a solid colour. I mean, if you look at the full skein, it does look quite, it looks like a solid colour rather than patchy. And I mean, obviously it's a hand-dyed yarn, so you are going to have very faint differences in colour, not the colour, the actual how much the colour has taken to it. And I think for a lot of people, that's what they like about hand-dyed yarn, that it, it's not just one colour. There's different different little shades to it. I'm doing a lot of hand movements tonight. I don't know why, but yeah. I mean, if I've been rambling too much about crap you don't care about, I'm sorry. Um, I wish I could be buying your non-stop and showing it. Unfortunately, I can't afford that. I'd like to, but I can't. Plus, Luke would notice it. So let's not. At some point, I will. Which brings me on to just one of the other things I wanted to mention. I mean, this is going to be a chatty podcast, not really a show and tell kind of podcast. Episode even, not the full podcast, an episode. I've mentioned before that I want to use up all of my own I've currently got, which I'm actually doing quite well. I'm quite happy with how much of my stuff I'm using up, except for this. But because what I want to do eventually is do a big order for my Sean's, because as much as I do hand-dyed yarns, let's be honest, it's not as economical as acrylics or cotton or even merino blends that you can buy from Sean's. So that's what I'm going to be doing at some point, doing a big Sean haul, because I've been looking around and they do yarn cakes that are thicker than fingering weight, which is brilliant for me because, as you know, I'm a slow crocheter and slow knitter. So the thicker the yarn, the quicker I can hopefully finish it. They do things like the yarn cakes, DK, yarn cakes, Aran, chunky not so much because I'm not massively keen on chunky yarn, but DK and Aran I quite like those. I could even double strand them. That's what I wish I would have done with. Do you remember last week when I was showing the cloud cakes they're called? I wish I would have got 2 of each because I could have double stranded it rather than single. But this is it. You buy stuff over time, and it's not exactly the clever way of shopping, but what can you do? Slowly you'll learn. Hey, yeah, I think that's it for this week. I keep saying I'm going to show you the shawls I've made. I will do. I've got them here on the side, but I just don't want to do everything in one video because then next week I don't know what I'm going to talk about. Yeah, I think. No, I'll show you. I've got another thing I keep forgetting to show you. Especially this will be interesting to knitters. I've got something that's quite an old thing that I don't think a lot of knitters would have had. I've only got it because of my colleague's ex-partner's mum passed away, and she was a knitter and a crocheter, I think. And when they were emptying her stuff, they gave me all of her yarn and knitting needles and patterns. Now, it's I don't want to say extremely old, just in case someone, I grew up back then. No, it's right. Okay, right. I'm not calling anyone old. Please don't think that. When I say they are old, I don't mean 10 years ago. No, they are quite old knitting patterns, as in 50s. I don't know if they did 1940s. There's a lot of black and white in very old writing and papers, and some of them got dates on them and they go back to the 50s. So they are old patterns. But I hope no one says I was born. I'm not saying you're old. The patterns are old. Look, I know how the internet works. A lot of people get offended very easily, and I don't want to do that. So Just so I don't offend anyone. The patterns are old. Nobody else is old. Everyone's young. Everyone loves each other. We're all young. We're all okay. I bet you're thinking, what the hell is he going on about, this guy? Sorry. But yeah, so that's another thing I want to show on one of the podcasts coming up. But I'm just trying to keep it interesting each week. He says 40 minutes and 18 seconds in. But I'm going to leave it at that now that I've offended someone potentially. But sorry, can't say anything else. Yeah, so I'm going to let you go. Sorry about the ramble every single week. I don't know why I'm doing it. Like I said, I can't talk to anyone else really about knitting and crocheting, so fortunately, you'll be hearing it. But love you. Thank you for listening. Until next time, have a good weekend, everyone. Hopefully, you've got something interesting coming up. Get crafting, get some nice stuff made. Check out the cows that I've mentioned, or the mals. There's interesting things being made on them all the time. Which, quickly, sorry, I'm like my mum. I started saying goodbye and then something else pops up. With this, for Judy's mal, not the Turnpike Creations mal. With this, I might not make this for the mal and instead just do some granny squares for my blanket, only because I don't know if I can fit both of the projects into 1 month. Who knows? I'm going to try. I need to see what Judy mentions on her video about the wrap pattern first and take it from there. So, but yeah, anyway, have a lovely weekend, everyone. I shall catch you next week. Take care until then. Get crafting. And I will see you next time. Bye, everyone. See yous.